Uh, am I audible? Yeah, yeah. Good. Um, First of all, a big round of applause to all those performers. I think that was great. Fantastic. Been to many places, but this kind of performance from students I'm seeing for the first time. So all of them deserve a big round of applause. Yes. And another thing is that, introductions always sound very glamorous. So claps should be reserved for the end, not at the beginning. All right. So with that, first of all, I must accept that I'm kind of feeling out of place here because all the speakers here and all of you are in your 20s and the speakers are probably in the 30s. I'm like a dinosaur. I'll be probably, I'll be completing 58 in some months. And the kinds of experiences that all the other speakers have spoken about is all from the digital age. I will talk about manufacturing, the businesses that I started, and my journey. So anyway, that's also, maybe that's unconventional, right, these days? Because digital seems to be conventional. So hardcore manufacturing, I can call it unconventional. All right. With that, what is this? Can we have that? This is pointless, no? I mean, this is already done, so let your main slide be there. I didn't see that, sorry. How I'm going to just narrate my entrepreneurial journey and then how I kind of accidentally came into academics. I'm going to talk about it, and maybe there are some lessons thereof from there. I was at IIT BHU. Back then it was IT BHU. Later on, now it has become Indian Institute of Technology BHU. I think I was in the first year at that time, and I saw a kind of a banner which said Diamond Jubilee of Banaras Hindu University. And, I was on my way to the class on a cycle from the hostel. And by the time I reached the class, I spoke to my friend saying, "Are ये Diamond Jubilee हुआ है, कुछ celebration हुआ है क्या campus में?" None of us knew. So we thought, let us create a T-shirt, a Diamond Jubilee T-shirt, and try to sell it. We had no money, so obviously we needed advance. So we went around people telling them, we're going to make this T-shirt, pay us an advance. At that time, I'm talking about 1984, 1985, all right? The pricing of the T-shirt we had thought would be 50 rupees, and we would collect an advance of 25 rupees. Nobody gave because sab हमारे जैसे कंगाल होते थे. First year students, you can imagine. So then we had to show them something, right? So we bought some white T-shirt from somewhere, painted it black, and convinced a screen printer to kind of, print the logo and Diamond Jubilee and stuff like that. And the screen printer said, "एक दो हम करेंगे नहीं." So we said, "साहब एक दो कर दो, बाद में 200-300 के order आ जाएंगे." So somehow we convinced him and we got it done. And we started wearing that T-shirt and walking around. And a lot of people asked, "ये किधर से आया, किधर से आया?" Nobody knew Diamond Jubilee हो गया था. We were in 1984. The college was established in 1919. So Diamond Jubilee happened in 1979 itself. We were 5 years late, but still we were wearing that Diamond Jubilee. But that Diamond Jubilee thing kind of, attracted a lot of attention. And we were able to actually convince people to part with some advance. 25 rupees at that time was probably half month's pocket money. I don't know what it is today. Maybe one bus journey from here to Swargate possibly, right? But anyway, that was it. So that was my first entrepreneurial venture, so to say. And the incentive for doing that was a trip to Nepal. Banaras, Nepal, maybe a 5-6 hour journey by bus and across the border. So we made some money and we actually could make that trip at the end of the first year. So that was my first experience. But one learning from there was you can talk anything, but unless you show something, it's not going to sell. That T-shirt that we, kind of, so to say, in normal terms, today's language, it will be called a prototype. But that's one lesson that we learned. You show something, only then it will sell. Anyway, so another 3 years passed, some other fun elements here and there, some ventures here and there. Didn't really have to trouble my father for much money at that time because we kept on making something or the other, some interesting things. Kisi ka assignment karke diya, glass tracing and all of that, I'm sure. Today, a lot of tools you have, but back then, even glass tracing used to be painful. So we used to outsource that and stuff like that. And so whatever happened. Then MBA happened, Jamnalal Bajaj. And at the end of the placement season, or rather during the placement season, I kind of decided I would take up a job. Somewhere I think that rebellious tendency always existed. Maybe it came from my father. And I didn't take up a job. A lot of everybody around in Jamnalal Bajaj, you can imagine getting fancy salaries. Koi Citibank mein jata hai, koi Bank of America mein jata hai, somebody is in HUL, etc., etc. So I used to feel, but I anyway started that. And for the first time, what we started, we started with a manufacturing unit doing labor job for large companies like Larsen & Toubro and Voltas and Siemens, etc. We started with 3 or 4 lathe machines. You know what lathe machines are? Engineering students, I'm sure you know. So that's what we started with. And in about a year or so, I realized that these large companies are taking me for a ride. They would take 60 days to 90-day credit periods and never pay before 120 days. So the conclusion was that this is not going to go anywhere. And we were in the lookout for, trying to make something on our own. And in one of the trips to the Siemens factory at Kalwa, I saw one small machine, a press kind of a thing, lying on a table in one corner. And I asked the manager, what is this? He said it's an impact press meant for, marking of logos and punching holes into sheet metal, etc. And I saw a lot of applications of that press on the shop floor there. But it was all being done manually because some of these machines were under maintenance or whatever. They were not working or something. Then I asked the manager, can you give me that machine? I will repair it for you. And, a little bit of, he said, no, this can't happen, X, Y, Z. Then finally I said, the first 3 machines that I make a copy of this, I will give Siemens 3 machines free. So that, I think, cracked the deal. And we took that machine and, about a month and a half later, we reverse engineered the whole thing and we made that press. And obviously, gave the first 3 to Siemens. Siemens using those machines obviously got us market in other places, other switchgear industries. So things began on a good note in business. Unlike a lot of businesses, we got early success. But then I think success brings a lot of complacency also. So we tried too many things, a lot more than we could actually really handle. From 1990 to 93, 94 was a good time. Then all these extra risks we started taking. Some worked, some did not work. By the way, in that introduction, he did mention that I had 5 big failures, entrepreneurial failures. 8 ventures tried, 5 big failures. 3 made some decent money. Later on, I'll talk about it as well. But so those, 1 or 2 failures happened from the 93 to 95 period. And somewhere in 95, 96, we started a division manufacturing special purpose machines. You're aware of special purpose machines? Custom built machines according to customers' needs. Margins are very high, but gestation period is a lot. So cash flow management is a big challenge, all right? Now, when you attempt to do something like special purpose equipment, it's not that everything works all the time. There are bound to be failures, and those kinds of failures are big failures. 1997, 5th August was an extremely low day for me myself. Next day, salaries had to be given to the workers, no money. Somehow, here and there, we pawned some jewelry and stuff like that, and maybe we got over that period. And those kinds of failures taught us a lot of lessons in the sense that we put systems in place. standard operating processes in place, because as a startup, you constantly are in that growth kind of mindset, and you neglect a lot of groundwork that needs to be put in. A process needs to be followed. If you don't follow the process in the long run, you cannot scale up. So that's something which we learned in those first 5-6 years. Then we put some processes in place, and by this time, the special purpose machines division started doing well. Then somewhere around 2000 or 2001, we were decently established in that space, and we participated in an exhibition in the US called 2002. That was in 2002. With my intention at that time was we should get a joint venture with some foreign company, and and then that's the way to scale up. So that was some, I don't know why, but somehow that was at the back of my mind. And with that intention, we participated in this Assembly 2002. We were the only Indian company in that space, in that exhibition. So we attracted quite a lot of attention. We got 2 offers one from an American company and one from a German company, small companies, for a joint venture. The American company, being an American company, they tried to act very smart. They tried to keep all veto powers with them, nothing with me, etc. So that deal didn't go through. Germans were not as bad, but finally that deal didn't get through also. But remember, at that time, we were not known for anything, not even IT as a country. India was not even known for IT. I'm talking about 2002, 2003, that time, right? And I think it was a little too early for me to attempt to kind of get a joint venture in an engineering kind of machinery manufacturing venture. So that didn't go through. And then, but participating in that exhibition, that risk paid off in the sense that in the Indian market, we started getting good traction from large Indian companies and multinationals in India. Because if a company can exhibit something in an exhibition in the US, the quality must be good. So with that kind of a positioning, we started getting good traction in the Indian market. Now, when you get good traction, automatically competition catches up. And around 2003 onwards, what a very peculiar thing started happening. We used to make these special purpose machines, putting in a lot of effort, understanding what the customers need, what factories need, and then automating the whole processes. And we used to kind of make the first 5-6 pieces, and then competitors used to kind of reverse engineer. Pick up those machines from our customers. The way, same thing, circle turns a full thing. I did it in 1990, and somebody was doing it for me, against me in 2003 as well. So point was that we started kind of, those guys obviously were copying stuff. So pricing used to be much lower than ours. So we started losing some kind of traction in the market, at which time we were really struggling what to do. One thing I think that I would say as one of the highlights of my whatever entrepreneurial journey or professional career, I would say is we actually, instead of fighting with the competitors, we collaborated with competitors. What our strength was designing stuff. Their strength was manufacturing, reverse engineering and manufacturing. We actually got together, and the 3 of us then actually became one kind of a group, so to say. When another lesson I would kind of put forth is we were able to do this because right from the beginning, the focus in my manufacturing setup was how lean can we be? How optimized can our operations be? So constantly we used to think, what can be outsourced? What should be done in-house and what can be done outsourced? What can be outsourced should not be done in-house. Now, that's something which helped us because we were constantly keeping on outsourcing stuff from our factory shop floor to outsiders, which meant our shop floor kind of became a lot more empty. And when we were looking at collaborating with these competitors, I was able to actually sell that real estate of the factory to get a stake in the competitors. We had 25% stake in one competitor and 32% in another competitor. Now, which meant that, honestly, our company had control over all the three kind of the conglomerate or whatever that we formed. So that was one lesson that I learned, that we need to collaborate in order to win. We need to create win-win scenarios all the time. If you create win-lose scenarios, it's not going to be a sustainable relationship in the long run. So think of creating win-win scenarios. And then from 2002 to 2005, we scaled up well enough. By 2005, somewhere, I started feeling, when a company scales up, from the founder, from being a creator, starts becoming a kind of a manager, kind of an administrator. And that somehow was kind of kept gnawing at me. Oh, I don't get to, like, the earlier 12 years, a lot of action, designing stuff, new things, X, Y, Z. And when that goes away from you and then you need to manage an enterprise, somewhere I started feeling a fish out of water. And then I wanted to get out of that business. It took me about 3 years to really get out of it with good valuation. In 2005, I got out of all the 3 businesses that we had built. I'm not talking about the 5 failures, those went away. But those 3, 2005, March 31st, I came out of that. Took a year off. Now you'll be surprised what I did. I was interested in yoga. And I kind of explored yoga at various places in India where yoga is taught. And I found 3 places which deal with yoga as a science, nothing to do with religion. And found these 3 places. One is Swami Vivekananda Kendra at Bangalore, Bihar School of Yoga at Munger in Bihar, and Kaivalya Dham en route to between Bombay and Lonavala. These 3 places I found that they tackle yoga at a scientific level. Spent a year and a half in that. And then academics kind of happened very accidentally. I used to go to Wellington Institute as a guest speaker earlier when I was an entrepreneur. And in 2006, they were launching this new program called PGDM in Business Design and Innovation. And I had gone actually as an external panelist for the selection process. And when the director, Dr. Uday Sarunke, was talking about the program, this new program that they were introducing, after he introduced the whole thing, I kind of casually spoke with him and said, this seems interesting. I would like to get involved in this in some way or the other. I remember I was on that 1-year sabbatical, so to say, going around learning yoga and stuff like that. By the way, I'm also a trained yoga instructor, certified yoga instructor from Swami Vivekananda Kendra. But that 1 year helped get a lot of perspective of what is to be done, what is not to be done. Because you have too many things that you want to do, but it is important to focus on something. Focusing on something is important, yes, but defocusing from something that you should not be doing is, according to me, more important. You get what I'm saying? Focusing on something is important, but also figuring out what not to do is more important, because you don't want to get your mind cluttered. Well, that happened maybe in that year or so. And then academics kind of happened. And when I said to Dr. Sarunke that I would like to get involved in this program in some way or the other, he said, why don't you come for tomorrow? I mean, I was taken aback. I had no connection with academics. I was always a last bencher all my student life. But then I said, maybe I'll come twice a week. And then that twice a week just got me involved, got me sucked in. On my first day as an adjunct, so to say, or whatever you call it, adjunct faculty or something, I parked my car in the basement and I came to the lift and I saw a small, tiny little old man. He looked at me up and down and said, Naya hai kya? And, we took the lift together, and that turned out to be Professor Sudhakar Nadkarni, who was the founder of IDC, Industrial Design Center at IIT Bombay, way back in 1976. After retiring, he had joined this Wellington Institute for this same program that I was an adjunct faculty for. And I think our chemistry just hit off. And when we got together, and there were other people also in the team, and we kind of created that new program in innovation, management and design thinking combined together, etc. Now it's in the 18th year now. But that experience was a lot of fun. In the process, we realized that in a B school, everybody talks, nobody does anything. Sorry to say, in a B school. That's what we realized. So both of us said, we must build something kind of a laboratory in the school so that students can actually do something with their hands. I don't know whether I'm allowed to use this word or not, but anyway, I will use it. Nothing comes out of it. So let's create a laboratory. So we created a laboratory called Innovi, the Innovation Lab, where students are welcome. Come in, we will help you. And gradually we brought in some machines also in the whole thing. And gradually that lab has built up. Then today my philosophy in teaching, coming from an entrepreneurial background, is I teach subjects related to innovation, entrepreneurship, etc. So a lot of ideas get discussed, but the clear mandate to the students is, please do not show me any PowerPoint presentations. I'm sick of it. Show me prototypes. Show me something working. How have you actually taken your idea forward? Otherwise, people come with ideas, they talk dime a dozen, but nobody does anything about it. The moment I say, show me a prototype, that's when students actually work and actually take some feedback from users and stuff like that. So my evaluation criteria today are very clear. If you just show me a prototype, you will not qualify for more than 60 marks. If you show me a prototype, maybe I will consider you somewhere around 70. If you show me a prototype after having taken some trials from end users, maybe you qualify for 75 plus. If you have iterated based on the feedback that you've got from customers or users, maybe you qualify for 75 plus. If you have done 2 or 3 iterations plus, only then you get 80, 85 plus. So that's the philosophy that I've been following now. And along the way, a lot of experiences, some points. I think I will close with this. Can we have the PPT on? Some lessons that I have picked up from there, from my journey. Yeah, can we have the PPT? Excuse me. Yeah, I talked about this. Always create win-win scenarios. Do not, I mean, we are, unfortunately, we are taught that business is a win-lose scenario. It is not. Please create win-win scenarios. Choosing what to do is important, but choosing what not to do is more important. I spoke about this. Develop empathy, be compassionate. One incident I'll tell you. When I was about 8 years old, my sister came 26th in SSC board, Maharashtra board. And my father, being so boisterous, he decided I will distribute 26 kgs of pedha. Right? She came 26 or 26. So I used to follow him. We used to go from house to house, giving these whatever pedhas and stuff like that. And one person that we went to, who was my father's teacher, and he used to call him Gokte Master. All right? We went to him at his house in Bandra, and my father very exuberantly handed over that box of sweets to him. He took it very graciously, spoke to us for a bit, etc., etc. And then we came home, and this was 1976. We had a phone in the house. In the evening, this Gokte Master called my father, saying that, congratulations, very good. You might have noticed that I was not very exuberant, or I did not show, maybe I didn't show too much enthusiasm, though your daughter came 26th in the board, etc. But the reason is that we just lost our daughter-in-law yesterday. And that's the reason maybe you might have not seen me very exuberant. Now, that lesson was when we were there in their house, this man didn't say a word. I think that's empathy, compassion at its highest. He did not want to dampen my father's exuberance by telling them that they had a death in the family. Now that's something which rankled, which still keeps me kind of, inspired, or keeps me grounded in a lot of ways. And that, I think, it came in the entrepreneurial ventures also. When I said we outsource stuff, which means a lot of our workers would become redundant, right? When you outsource stuff, your in-house workers become redundant. What's the way out? Retrenchment. Tell them go home. Yeah, it's a normal thing. Pink slip or whatever it is. But what we did at that time was, whatever machines became redundant on our shop floor, we actually offered them to these workers, saying that for the next 18 months, we will give you job work, guaranteed. Even if we didn't have work, we will actually load them with work. We will stock the inventory, but we will not make them jobless. Now, you might feel this is a charitable kind of an expression. I don't think it was a very, I don't consider it to be totally charitable. What would have happened if I had not given them those machines to work on? They would have probably gone to my competitors and I would have got killed, right? So, but point is that empathy works in different ways. Need not necessarily be total, I mean, I'm not saying go in bhagwa pehen ke mat jao. That's not what I'm saying. But have that in mind, that there are people other than you also in this world, and look at their interest as well. And it definitely affects your decision making, and it makes you a better person. And obviously it comes back to you as well in form of wealth as well. All right. Opportunities don't come wrapped and labeled. You need to grab them. And the last one I feel is there is no failure, there's only feedback. There's no failure, there's only feedback. Thank you very much for